Good morning. Welcome to the service of worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tucson. My name is, the older you get, it's Merle, Will Wallace, and I'm the worship associate today. And this morning, I'm joined by our minister, Reverend Jamili Omar. Yeah. Today is Sunday, July 19th, 2026. Our community is striving to become as varied as the blooms of the Sonoran Desert. Whoever you have been, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. And whoever you are becoming, we welcome you. We invite you to bring your whole self here and now. Next, some housekeeping. There are gender-specific restrooms out the door here and to the left. And then we also have a gender-inclusive single-stalled restroom that's back in the AV section for all members to use. On Sunday mornings only, the sanctuary and social hall, our parking lots, and our children's classrooms are open to all without invitation. However, we have designated a number of other areas as private, even on Sunday morning. Private offices are labeled, and entry into these spaces are by invitation only for all of us, and also it's by invitation only for all of us and for law enforcement officers, including ICE, unless they have been providing a proper judicial warrant. If you do not feel safe and need to take advantage of these offices, then they're right behind us. As we worship today, let us always be mindful of those desert people who came first to this place and whose land was stolen in successive acts of displacement and genocide. We honor the O'odham, the Yaqui, the Apache. We also honor the Hohokam and the many other ancient indigenous peoples whose names are not known to us. As Unitarian Universalists, one of our core values is transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian Universalist heritage, never complete and never perfect. As we move more deeply into the sacred space of worship, please know that you are indeed welcome here. Whether you've walked in, skipped in, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, whatever cultural and ethnic background you claim, however your immigration status, whomever you love, however you identify your gender, and in whatever way you choose to express it, you're truly welcome here. We especially welcome those new visitors this morning, and I know there are a few out here. If you're new and you feel up and open to it, we invite you to raise your hand so that we can welcome you warmly today. Thank you. We truly appreciate you being here with us.
So this morning I arrived to church early, even before Jesus. So I was literally the first one here to witness our church waking up. So the cloudy skies overhead were promising much needed rain, and the mourning doves on our brick walls were chirping, and there was a calm and a quiet, an anticipation of you. I always feel that this building and this property breathes along with us, our comings and goings. It anticipates our return, the life we bring to it and to this space. It waits for us, patiently, ready to welcome us in, sometimes calling us back with floods and leaks, and sometimes reminding us to stay home because it's darn hot. And then the morning unfolds, and 1 becomes 2, becomes 5, becomes all of us. Just like in this poem by Marge Piercy, as we anticipate what we can do together. She writes, "What can they do to you? Whatever they want. They can set you up, they can bust you, they can break your fingers, they can burn you with electricity, blur you with drugs till you can't walk, can't remember. They can take your child, wall up your lover. They can do anything you can't stop them from doing. How do you stop them? Alone, you can fight, you can refuse, you can take revenge. You can, but they roll you over. But 2 people fighting back to back, can cut through a mob, can snake dance, file, break a cordon. An army can meet an army. 2 people can keep each other sane, can give support, conviction, love, massage, hope, sex. 3 people are a delegation, a committee, a wedge. With 4, you can play bridge and start an organization. With 6, you can rent a whole house, eat pie for dinner with no seconds, and hold a fundraising party. 12 make a demonstration, 100 fill a hall. 1,000 have solidarity in your own newsletter. 10,000 power and your own media. 10 million, your own country. It goes on one at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again and they say no, and it starts when you say we and know who you mean, and each day you mean one more. So come, friends, let us fight injustice together. Let us welcome the stranger together. Come, let us worship together. Please join me in our chalice lighting words this morning. We light this chalice, remembering and honoring our own tradition and celebrating the rich diversity of traditions among us. As we search for justice, meaning, and purpose, may remember that justice, meaning, and purpose live first by deeply listening to one another.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you rise as you are able and sing the first couple of verses? Maybe may I have just a little less on 3? Sing the first couple of verses of O Come You Longing Thirsty Souls. Yes, souls. Thought I'd misread it. Oh, come you longing, thirsty souls, drink freely from the spring. And come you weary, famished, and endure hungering. Why spend yourself on empty air? Why not be satisfied? For everywhere a feast is spread, that's always at our side. For as the rain and snow above fall not in vanity, but for the purpose water earth to feed humanity, so shall the word of Spirit serve as seed within our home, that we may bear so rich a yield that brings the harvest home. Please be seated. Thank you.
She's so good. For the suffering of others and for so many other reasons, we set aside this moment together to remember, to honor, and to hold dear the joys and sorrows in our lives. We symbolize our coming together with our shared bowl. With these large stones, we reach down for the stability, firmness of the earth, which has witnessed every migration and movement since it coalesced out of stardust. We know that this strength can hold our global pains and joys, our loves and our angers. With this water, we remember that this life-sustaining resource is not always available to all. We offer our witness to those migrating at this very moment, especially those moving across our desert without access to water. With our small stones, we add our own personal celebrations and mournings. Now it's your turn to contribute. One way is to go to menti.com and put in the code 3768-6068. In doing so, please, if you want to, include your name as part of your sharing. Another way to contribute is to come to one of the tables and to place a stone in the water to create ripples that carry our intentions forward. The table in the back is off camera for those who prefer that option. Now I invite you to engage in a moment of silent reflection, meditation, or prayer as we create our own ripples of hope. For those of you who wish to place a stone in the bowl, please come forward now.
on our Menti today. With my cup overflowing with so much from so many family members in the Dominican Republic, I've returned with a new perspective on life. Welcome back to me, Miriam. Miriam usually sits over in the other room, so welcome back, Miriam. Say hi if you see her. Still struggling with that pesky serenity prayer, such ecumenical wisdom, knowing what can, accepting what can't, discerning the difference, shared with you all because don't we all? Yes, we do, thank you. So proud that UUCT hosted a John Lewis Day of Action yesterday. Grateful for singing and speakers, Resistance Choir, Rev J, Leslie, Micah, Councilwoman Miranda, and all who donated. Mary Holly, it was a wonderful day, Mary Holly. I'm just so glad for everybody that was there. Thinking of the victims from last night's unfortunate tragedy downtown, sending healing thoughts to them and their families. Stay safe, everyone. Amen. And may there be some restoration for everyone. The World Cup has been amazing. Final today, Argentina v. Spain. People from all over the world have come to our country, cheered for their team in peace, and learned that not all in the USA are a-holes. I'm in a season of challenges right now, health, home, finances, and appreciating all love and light you can send my way. I hope you can feel it from us, friend. We're here for you. We come as strangers to this church, but already feel at home. Sky, Jean, and Charlie Latham. So glad you're here. The John Lewis Day of Action yesterday was inspiring. Thanks to everyone and all those who brought food and hygiene products. I'll tell you more if you haven't heard about this event. I'll tell you more today, don't worry. Cherishing the connections I have and am feeling. Joy for the relative good health of my mom and that Ben and I got to spend the week with her. We brought the rain back with us. Thank you, Brian, for bringing the rain. Somebody's got to. And on a personal note, I know some of you saw my email that went out this week. Unitarian Universalism lost a long-serving and valuable leader, and the Reverend Dr. Charles Gaines. He died peacefully July 4th, surrounded by his family. One thing to note about Reverend Gaines is he was the last ordained Unitarian minister before the merger. Unitarian. I'm going to stand by Unitarian. No, I have it written. Quote, last minister to be ordained as a Universalist minister in 61 before the consolidation. Darlene is nodding, so we're good. And he and his wife and his family retired here in Tucson, and we had the benefit of his sermons and pastoral care for quite a few years before he got ill. So UU and UUCT have lost a friend, a colleague, and a mentor. Please join me in a moment of prayer, reflection, meditation, whatever suits your heart today. Because in this moment of worship, we call to mind those times of failure and regret that are common to all of us. We remember first in silence those times when we have failed to do all that we meant to do, or through our action failed to be all we were meant to be. And now let us recall our moments of integrity. Those times we have lived into our deepest values and acted as human beings we always dreamed of being. And let us choose at this moment to lay down the burdens of our shortcomings and grasp the courage to begin anew. Together we affirm our capacity for goodness and grace, for freedom and purpose and joy. We are not trapped in our past, friends, but freed by creation to live and grow today. With gratitude, we say, blessed be and amen.
Please respond with, may I be filled with loving kindness. The song, the thing that changes is the pronoun I, you, we, and please stay seated for this. May I be filled
Last week, we streamed the closing worship service at the UUA General Assembly, which is our national annual meeting, and I have been thinking about it a lot, as I'm sure you have all been just stewing on it this whole week. Probably not. So let me recap. In her sermon, the Reverend Jen Youngsun Ryu spoke about the concept discipleship. The process, as she defines it, of learning deeply about a topic, practicing it, and then going in the world to live it out. So learning, practicing, distributing, going. Specifically, she said, and here's a long quote to refresh our memories, quote, "The discipline and the discipleship that I'm talking about and inviting us all into is about studying love. It's about practicing love. It's about moving in the world having been formed by love. To be a disciple of love," she continues, "is to allow ourselves to be reshaped and stretched, often beyond what is comfortable, especially when we are called to love our enemy, or, in UU words, to affirm the inherent worth and dignity of all, even those who would use their power to deny that dignity to others." Discipleship, she says, is not easy, and yet following the way of love is what keeps us from being consumed by the very forces we are trying to resist. Our longing for justice can become untethered from mercy, and we risk becoming spiritually starved without love. Further, I would argue that without love, our organizing can itself become untethered from democracy, and we risk becoming little dictators. Our inclusion can become untethered from equity, and we risk expecting conformance rather than being radically welcome. And our transformation can become tightly tethered to ego, and we risk demanding everyone else change while I self-righteously hold on to my existing beliefs because who's right? I'm right. These are the kinds of discipleship that Reverend Jen calls, quote, distorted, when it becomes a cult of personality rather than a liberating path, and when systems of control, hierarchy, and the surrender of one's own spiritual or moral authority become demanded of us. That is not the kind of discipleship we want to practice. And UUs have declared that love is the center, the ethic that leads and guides all other values we might have. Everything comes back to whether it's based in love or not. And over the course of our lives, maybe even the course of a day, we have to evaluate and select primary operating values. Which value is most important in this moment? For example, when I go to the grocery store, do I buy organic because I think it's better for me or the planet? Or do I buy the least expensive one because it's better for my pocketbook? There's no right answer. There's only an ethic guiding our choices, whether we know them or not. In psychology, many of us remembering studying Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which could be thought of as an ethic guiding our decisions, right? In his formulation, people seek from the bottom upwards of the hierarchy to meet our physiological needs, our air, food, drink, shelter, clothing, and then safety and security, desire for stable, predictable environments and freedom from anxiety and chaos. The next level up is love and belonging, which can be acceptance, it can be group membership. So maybe coming here today feeds your love and belonging needs. On top of that, according to this hierarchy, is esteem, self-respect, achievement, recognition from others. And then finally, at the very pinnacle for Maslow is self-actualization, right? The pursuit of realizing one's full potential through personal growth, creativity, attainment of meaningful goals. So far as we know, so far as we can tell, humans are the only species which seeks self-actualization, unless you count my dog Ruby and her attainment of the meaningful goal of catching all the tennis balls. That is her meaningful purpose in life. Otherwise, we don't think other animals search for meaning. And there's been a lot of criticism of Maslow over the years. First, it's too linear. People don't progress from top to bottom, bottom to top. We often seek love and belonging, even if safety or physiological needs aren't met. And really, given how many people struggle daily to meet the basic physiological needs, like housing, food, and sleep, and still create meaningful social connections like love and belonging, this should not be a surprise at all. Additionally, recent research suggests that for people who experience trauma, the brain reorders these priorities. The bottom priorities move up. So for example, safety is first and always. If the body is not feeling safe, the rest of the needs can't be met. And people in trauma are often stuck in a survival loop, where a person feels unsafe, and then their body is overwhelmed with stress hormones, and it makes it impossible to focus on other tasks, even physiological ones like eating. We all know that. If I asked you to come up and speak, you might feel that stress hormone. And finally, there's a group of researchers that consider this hierarchy, the top-level needs, and the criticism is that these are actually more developed or mature than lower-level needs. They write that, quote, rather than depicting the goals as stacked on top of each other, we depict them as overlapping, that oftentimes we get some needs met while we're getting other needs met. They're not likely to be replaced, but likely to overlap with each other. And further, for example, many different approaches to motivation suggest that people are characterized by the need to seek and maintain some sense of understanding, meaning, and purpose. People are characterized by a need to seek and maintain some sense of understanding, meaning, and purpose. Isn't this ultimately what Reverend Jen meant when she said discipleship? Our search for understanding, learning deeply about a topic. Our search for meaning, practicing it, embodying it, knowing why it's significant in our world. And purpose, going out in the world to live it. What if discipleship, then, understanding meaning and purpose, is in fact a basic human motivation and need? The question then is, how does purpose show up for you? Have you thought of yourself as having a purpose? Has it changed over your lifetime? What does it feel like to live in alignment with that purpose? What does it feel like to live in conflict with it? And how do you know? Ministers in formation get asked a lot what our call is, what's our purpose, what kind of ministry do we want to do, what do we imagine, what are we good at, what do we need to learn to do? How do we know we're living into our deepest and truest selves? My answer is usually, listen to that small, still voice that has never failed to guide me.
Would you join me in singing Voice Still and Small? We're going to sing it twice, once in English and then once in Spanish. The Spanish words will be on the screen, and it's hymn 391 in the Gray Hymnal for those that have that. Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still will remain, singing. Calling my fears, quenching my tears.
So another criticism of Maslow is the question, why is individual self-actualization the highest pinnacle humans can aspire to? What's the piece of human life that is left out of this model? Not a rhetorical question. What is the piece of human life that's left out? Community. So when I have a purpose, I can do some things, right? I can hand out a bottle of water, I can give a hug, I can write a letter. But I have a limited impact on the number of people in my own circle. Right? Marge Piercy said it, alone you can fight, you can refuse, you can take revenge, but they're all over you. What happens then when we get together? What happens then when we're in community? A dozen make a demonstration, 100 fill a hall. It starts when we say, we, and know who we mean, and each day we mean one more. This is the story of Unhoused Neighbors, one of the nonprofits who came yesterday to our event, our rally, and we donated to them. It was a fantastic event. We had 97 people, including one gorgeous baby. We had 5 speakers, including our friend here, Micah, who got up and got the most, Micah got the most applause out of everybody. And Councilwoman Miranda Schubert, who gave a rousing reflection on government and how government can impact the local situation. Unhoused Neighbors, one of the nonprofits we donated to, started when Amina looked out of her window and said, there are people out there who have a need, and I know how to get them resources. And then she invited a neighbor, and then she invited another neighbor, and then she partnered with a business, and then another organization. And all in all, people here yesterday from her team. They've coordinated with local kitchens to prepare meals. They set up an ID project to help people get state-issued IDs so that they can start the process of housing and other services. She's built relationships with other mutual aid networks. She and Casa Maria were so glad to get together and know each other because they're all working for the same cause. And they provide consistent access to resources and supportive services for people who are unhoused. Because she looked out her window and said, I can do something, and she brought along a friend. So what if this highest form of actualization is community actualization? What happens when I becomes we, and when we encompasses all? The statistics bear this out, the importance of this community building. In an article from 2021, social isolation and loneliness predict earlier death from both suicide as well as from all causes. Social isolation and loneliness. Suicide makes sense, but they've proven that other diseases increase our likelihood of death significantly when we are isolated socially. And that social connection is an independent protective factor. Independent protective factor when we socialize, when we get together in community. We are literally craving to be in community. We fare better in every single health measure, physical and mental health, when we are in community of belonging that accepts us, respects us, allows us to exert our own agency, and when we can rely on the steadfastness of others. In other words, church, right? Not iChurch, a church that Frederick Muir famously blames on Ralph Waldo Emerson. Quote, no law can be sacred but me, but that of my nature, Emerson proclaims. Trust thyself, every heart vibrates to that iron string. Emersonian individualism has become part of the American story, of course. The I in iChurch, lowercase I, like Apple products, your iPhone. Some say it means internet. Some say it stands for individual. This is your personal piece of technology to be used for whatever purpose you want. Are we an iChurch? We are an internet church, but are we an individual church? Are we community church? It sounds like a lot of you use, though what happens to iChurch when we come to church is a relational community defined by covenants and working towards a greater good. At its best, we learn more about ourselves and work continually towards personal self-actualization. At its worst, we create the dogmatic, exploitative hierarchies we see in the wider world. So what if instead of iChurch, we celebrate the vision of community articulated by Sonafu Somé? Quote, "Community is the spirit, the guiding light of the clan, whereby people come together to fulfill a specific purpose, to help others fulfill their purpose, and to take care of one another." This collective purpose, this vision, as we heard from Francis earlier this month, we have the opportunity to rededicate ourselves to both our individual and collective purposes, to become disciples for what? Only you will get to decide that. But together, I know that we will create a vision of our collective that centers love, points us towards the future, brings in the diverse, beloved community we strive to be, and creates a legacy that will last another 78 years. So may it be so, and come to our visioning workshops.
If you're proud of this church, oh, okay. She's got to get my height back up. If you're proud of this church, become its advocate. If you're concerned for its future, share its message, as Reverend Jamili talked about today. If its values resonate deep within you, give it a measure of your devotion. This church cannot survive without your faith, your confidence, your enthusiasm, and your resources. The offering we will now be generously given and most gratefully received. For those of you that are here in person, the ushers will soon be passing by with a collection basket among you. For those of you watching from afar, you can send a check to our church office, or you can give online at uuctucson.org/donate. As the offering is collected, announcements about upcoming activities will appear on the screen.
receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Gordon Weeks, and I am president of this incredible, wonderful congregation. I want to first invite everyone to social hour after the service in Goddard Hall, which is out those doors behind you to your left across the patio. There'll be coffee, iced tea, lemonade, snacks, and always good company. Social hour food and refreshments are free for all. Donations are appreciated to cover our costs, though. Visitors are encouraged to take one of the red cups you'll find in there. That helps us know who you are. You can use it for any beverage, and that will help us find you and welcome you, or leave you alone if that's what you prefer. If you're new and you want to stay in touch with us, you can fill out a guest information card on our in the Welcome Center in Goddard Hall or on our website. You'll find that in the newcomer section. You heard about the policy regarding uninvited law enforcement on campus in the welcome. If you have any questions about it, please find a board member. You'll know us by our blue lanyards, or a member of the safety team, or Reverend Jamili. And we're staying up to date on situations we find ourselves in and revisiting it as necessary. Some specific announcements. Is there a sermon living in you? There is. Oh, she says there is. There must be. Have you wondered how we create a worship service at UUCT? If so, come explore your ideas with Reverend Jamili. Join Reverend Jamili to learn how to create a quality sermon and how to craft a worship service. 4 Saturdays in August from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. here at UUCT in the Servetus room. And finally, as a member of your board, I get to tell you about just fun things that are going on. So my pet project is we have a game night once a month, which is this Friday. It is always the fourth Friday, not the last. So fourth Friday, which is this Friday, over in Servetus room. It's been going through the summer. We had 15 people last month. So come join us. We bring a variety of games. So whether you're a casual gamer, new to gaming, a kind of hardcore gamer, we have several things going on. And we'd love to have you join us. Come talk with me or someone else on the board if you want more information about anything. And I'll also be available in social hour if you have questions for your board or feedback. Thank you.
This is a once upon a time story, so maybe it happened, maybe it didn't happen, but it is true in our hearts. This is a story about a girl who was searching for a porpoise. Now, as you probably know, is a sea animal in the dolphin family. Porpoises are smaller and shyer than dolphins, and they are more difficult to find. But porpoises are very, very important to sea life.
The topic for today is about finding purpose.
Oh.
Purpose.
Purpose?
Yes.
Not porpoises.
No.
Well, are you okay if I tell the porpoise story? It's the only one I have.
Okay, sure, go for it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Otherwise, we'd be done really early. So, once upon a time, there was this girl named Nadia, and all she wanted for her birthday was a porpoise of her very own. She wished and wished and hoped and dreamed and asked all of her grown-ups all the way around her. She told her friends at school she was getting a porpoise for her birthday. But what happened? Her birthday came and went, and did she get a porpoise? No. She asked her parents. What do you think her parents said? They're wild animals. They live out in the ocean. We cannot get you a porpoise. That is something you need to seek out for yourself. So she looks at her parents kind of funny and said, you know, I said porpoise, right? Not purpose, like the sea animal that's smaller than a dolphin. And her parents said, oh, we thought you meant purpose. But still, you've got to find that for yourself. So that's to her grandparents, and she said, grandparents really wanted a porpoise. What happened? And they said, we can't get you a porpoise. You have to figure that out when you're older, and sometimes even adults don't know what their purpose is. And at this point, Nadia was a little annoyed. She's like, I said porpoise. I really wanted a porpoise. And her grandparents said, we don't even live by the ocean. How are you going to get a porpoise? And they're wild animals. They really need to live free and in the wild. And at this point, Nadia was fuming. No one understood that she wanted. And now she thought about it. Why were the adults unwilling to give her a purpose, too? And what was a purpose, anyways? How would you have answered Nadia? What is a purpose? What is a purpose? A reason to live? A job? A reason to create change? Ooh, we should write this one down. Fulfillment of your purpose, your experiment of your spiritual aspirations. And your spiritual transcendence. I heard another one in here. Guiding light. Leslie? Your meaning. Yeah. One more. Your calling. Yeah. Ministers get asked that a lot. What's your calling? So Nadia set out to find a purpose. For the next several years, she asked a lot of adults she knew and trusted. And some of the adults said, I don't know, that's a really hard thing to explain. She should have come here. Some adults gave her good advice. Some adults said, pay attention to the little things you care about in your life. See how you can use those interests and those passions to make a difference for others and for yourself. And some adults said, you know, that's going to evolve over time, but you'll figure it out. We believe in you. So Nadia thought about all the things she valued and cared about in the world, like things like animals and habitats they lived in. She thought about all the things she liked to do, things you like, learning new things and teaching those things to young people. She thought about her heroes, people who were living their lives in ways she wanted to copy. And she thought about what possible and what ways she might be able to find other things that were possible. And eventually, after some time and some work, Nadia came up with a purpose. Does anyone have a guess? Oh my gosh, you guys are brilliant. She decided to go into marine biology, and she went and helped all those places. And while she let them live free and in the wild, she was there to advocate and be their voice here on land for those purposes. No, purposes. So go and live your purpose out in this world, friends. Your friends wherever you go.
Our last song today is a new song to most everybody in the room, but here's what you need to know. The only word that changes verse to verse is the first verse is joy, next verse is peace, third verse is hope, fourth verse is love. Since it's a new song, I don't expect a lot of volume on joy, but I'm hoping we can get a lot of love in the room, if you can catch it by then. Do your best. It's short, it's catchy. I think you'll find it easy to sing. Please rise as you are able. The words will be on the screen for those that can see that. And otherwise, again, it repeats a lot of the same words. When we go out into the world each day, we're going to go with joy. Comes back again and again, but joy, peace, hope, love. When we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go with joy. When we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go with joy. We won't let anybody steal steal the joy from us. 'Cause when we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go out blessed. When we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go with peace. When we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go with peace. We won't let anybody steal the peace from us. 'Cause when we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go out blessed. When we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go with hope. When we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go with hope. We won't let anybody steal the hope from us. 'Cause when we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go out blessed. When we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go with love. When we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go with love. We won't let anybody steal the love from us. 'Cause when we go out into the world each day, we're gonna go out blessed. Please be seated.
Please join us together in these words to extinguish our challenge from J.E. Abernathy Jr., a reminder that in all our endeavors, love is our greatest purpose. All together, we affirm that love is our greatest purpose, accepting one another in the truest form of faithful living. The search for truth is our constant star. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to find hope in times of fear, and to live out our unitarian and universalist values every day as a beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. May it be so.